Hello, my name is Lisa Maisano, and I am a candidate for the Carroll County Board of Education. I'm an engineer by training, so spreadsheets are my jam. I made this video to break down the superintendent's proposed operating budget for next year, which is FY27. As a reminder, this is the operating budget, so it covers what it takes to operate the school system on a daily basis, but doesn't include capital projects. Before we get into the numbers, this is the superintendent's proposed operating budget, which means it's not final yet. The Board of Education has a budget work session on January 29th. They can discuss and make changes to the budget before they approve it at the next BOE meeting on February 11th. When these budgets are presented, they usually address the change or increase over last year. As far as revenue goes, the county plans to increase the funding going to CCPS by 3%, which works out to $7.6 million. Both the county and CCPS have planned on that already. The superintendent is also proposing an additional request from the county of $5.6 million to meet the needs of CCPS. That makes for a total ask of $13.2 million ongoing revenue from the county. That would reset the maintenance of effort, or MOE, which is the minimum level of funding by state law that a county must give to its school system each year. When you add the $13.2 million from the county to the additional $5.8 million CCPS expects to get from the state, the total is $19 million more in revenue for next year. Now let's move on to expenditures. The largest increase in expenditures is $20 million due to inflationary impacts. This has to do with increases in utilities, insurances, supplies, and employee compensation and benefits. The next item for $2.4 million is a mouthful, the annualized FY26 deferred annual increment. To put it simply, this is the remaining cost for the staff pay increase for the current school year. Next, it's $2 million for the facilities maintenance. They are requesting this $2 million because the fund balance, or the rainy day reserve fund, is almost exhausted. Fund balance is no longer available to cover the required maintenance, as they have been doing since facilities maintenance was cut from the operating budget back in FY18. There's also $1 million for technology, which includes device replacement. They have been using some year-end surplus to fund the device replacement. However, the fact that our fund balance is so low does not allow them to do that again this year. And the last expenditure on the list is the charter school initial opening. When the superintendent presented her budget, she included $4 million for that. However, recent news indicates that the charter school will not be open next year due to difficulty securing a building. So for purposes of my spreadsheet, I changed that to $0 for this coming year with the expectation it will return as an expense the following year in FY28. So that brings all of the anticipated expenditures to $25.4 million. As you can see, the increase in expenditures outpaces the increase in revenue by $6.4 million. In other words, we have a $6.4 million hole that we need to address to balance the budget. At the January meeting, the superintendent proposed several actions to address the deficit. She proposes eliminating outdoor school for a savings of $1.4 million. Outdoor School is a popular program that has been around for 50 years in Carroll, where all sixth graders get to attend Hoshua for a week. Additionally, the superintendent proposes reducing 15 teacher FTE, which stands for full-time equivalent. That reduction in teachers corresponds with the recent student enrollment decline, and CCPS made note that they expect those 15 teachers would be covered by natural attrition, like people retiring or leaving the system. That would save $1.3 million. Additionally, the Blueprint TSI program is phasing out, and that will save another $0.7 million. The superintendent proposed the BOE request from the county $7 million in one-time funds to cover the facilities maintenance and the technology refresh, as well as the charter school initial opening. However, on my spreadsheet, I removed the $4 million for the charter school, as I already discussed, which reduces the request to $3 million in one-time funds. The savings from eliminating outdoor school, reducing 15 teacher positions, and ending the Blueprint TSI program, along with an additional $3 million in one-time funding from the county, would balance the budget. So to summarize all of this, the county was anticipating giving CCPS $7.6 million, but in reality, we need to ask the county for another $8.6 million this year just to meet the superintendent's proposed budget. That would bring the total amount from the county needed for FY27 to $16.2 million. To put it in context, last year, when everyone was advocating heavily and emailing the BOE and commissioners, CCPS got a $13 million increase from the county. And this year, we need $16.2 million. And unfortunately, that $16.2 million does not save outdoor school and would still result in a reduction in 15 teacher positions. In order to keep outdoor school and keep the 15 teachers, the county would need to give another $2.7 million, which would bring the total to $18.9 million for next year. The bottom line is our schools are in a really tough position. We really need everyone on board advocating for more funding to support our school system, or else we're going to see cuts that nobody wants. In my opinion, reaching out to the BOE is the first step to encourage them to request from the county what we need to keep the school system running as it is now. Thank you for taking the time to listen and sticking with me through the numbers. Please follow along with me, and if you think this was helpful, share it with others. Thank you.